if I'm spending between 10 to 20 hours just editing an article, I don't want to spend another 2 getting it into WordPress. Now, I figured out an automation that allows me to click a button in Airtable and then have that push the Google Doc all the way over into WordPress with clean code. All right, let's check it out. To pull this off, you're going to need a few things. 1, Airtable. 2, Zapier, both paid accounts. 3, Google Docs. 4, WordPress. First things first, install the Zapier plugin to WordPress. Next, make sure Airtable, Google Docs, and WordPress are all connected in Zapier. In Airtable, you want to make sure we have the title, featured image, draft URL columns all created and filled out. We're also going to have an admin URL field created, but watch all the way to the end to see how we'll use this one. We'll also want to make sure we have a single select dropdown marked upload and a view that filters everything out that isn't tagged the status upload. Step 1. First, we have to tell Zapier the article we're looking for is in this specific base, on this table, in this upload view. Then we're going to look for the record, which is where all of the information is contained. In steps 2 and 3, we're going to use the Zapier formatter tool to isolate the Google Doc URL found in the draft URL column, and isolating the document's ID. We're going to open up the formatter tool, select text, and then find the command replace. Then we're going to select the draft URL field from Airtable and insert it into the input field. Then we're going to tell Zapier to find the first part of the Google Doc URL and replace it with nothing. You leave this space blank. We'll test the action and see that it stripped away the first part of the URL and left us with a string of letters and numbers. This is your document's unique ID, which we're going to need for the step after next. We're going to repeat a similar process by inputting what we got from the last step, then telling Zapier to find everything at the end of the unique doc ID and cutting and replacing it with nothing to remove it. Test and continue. Next, we're going to connect Google Drive and use the command move file from one folder to another. This will make sure all of our published articles will end up in one easy to access place. We'll input the value we've gotten from the previous step to identify the document to move, test the action, and move on. Next, we're going to select the Webhooks by Zapier option and use the action get. Don't let this step intimidate you. The next part is very simple. When we set up the action, we're going to look for the export links text HTML option that came from the Google Drive step, and that's it. We do not have to do anything else. We're going to test the action, and what comes up here is all of the code in the doc. It is ugly, and the next 2 steps will help us strip it out. In these next 2 steps, we're going to use Zapier's formatter tool again, but this time to remove all of the junk code. First, we open the formatter tool again, select text as the action event, then convert HTML to Markdown. Insert the output from the last step, and then click continue. What this will do is strip out all of the junk code from the Google Doc and make it clean. Then, because WordPress doesn't natively support Markdown, we're going to repeat the process, except this time we're going to convert Markdown back to HTML. If you have links inside your Google Doc, Google will automatically add this additional bit of code to the beginning of each link. So in the next step, we're going to use the formatter tool again to find each instance of this bit of text and remove it. Now that you've cleaned out most of the junk code, we're going to start getting everything back into WordPress. So first, we're going to select WordPress and then choose the action Upload Media. We're going to be using this to upload our featured image. Next, we're going to set up the action, and the first field we're going to fill out here is the file field, which will type in the featured image thumbnail's full URL. This is going to take the featured image URL from Airtable and insert it into the WordPress image gallery. We're going to also use the featured image file name data from Airtable and insert it into the file name field here. Then use the article's title as the title in WordPress. Run the test and you'll see the file from Airtable show up in your media library in WordPress. Next, we're going to run some JavaScript. Without this step, the formatting of the blog post will break once it gets into WordPress. We're going to select the Code by Zapier app, then use the Run JavaScript action. I got help with this part, and I'm not even going to pretend I know anything about regex. All I know is this strips out any remaining format breaking code before the draft goes into WordPress. Pause the video and grab a screenshot so you can include it in your Zap. And finally, we're going to create a post in WordPress. We're going to select the WordPress app and then select the action Create Post. Choose your account and we'll set up the action. For the title of the post, we'll use the title we inserted into Airtable. For content, we'll take the fully cleaned code we've produced in all of the other steps in the Zap, and with featured media, we'll use the image ID from the featured image we inserted a few steps back. Test the step, and now your article with the featured image will be inserted into WordPress. In the future, every time a draft enters the upload view in Airtable, it will automatically appear in the WordPress admin without the need for any code cleaning. And for good measure, let's add one more step where you can access this specific post's editor page in Airtable after you've triggered the upload. We're going to select Airtable as the app and set the action to Update Record. Then we're going to select the same base and table as we did in step 1. Next, we're going to tell Airtable to update the record we've been working on this whole time. Then we're going to scroll down to the admin URL field we set up earlier. Click in this area, then find the ID pulled in on step 11. We're going to go to your WordPress and copy everything before the post ID and paste it before the unique ID in Airtable. Then we're going to add this &action equals edit text after that URL. And now, whenever this full automation triggers, not only will the article upload itself into WordPress, but you can also go straight to the admin directly from Airtable. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We're doing a giveaway for a free 60-day trial to Airtable Pro so you can test out a lot of the stuff we talk about on this channel. All you have to do to enter is subscribe and leave a comment letting me know your best workflow hack. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.